Good morning. Welcome to AP Computer Science A. Today we are going to be covering section 3.1 and sections 3.2. So make sure that you type in your name and click submit so you guys can get points for this assignment. Now, you should also have your notes. Notice that 3.1 is a short lesson. So therefore, we're also going to cover 3.2, which is just one page as well. So the next time we'll cover section 3.3. So 3.1, finally we get to if statements. If statements are going to allow us to be able to make decisions. And that is an essential part of programming. So therefore, you should have your name, make sure to click on submit so you can get points for this assignment. So let's go and review Boolean expressions or Boolean data types, correct? Because we talked about Boolean in section 1.6 once we started to talk about different data types. So if you look at your notes, actually it was here, 1.3. So if you look at your notes on 1.3, we start to talk about the different primitive types that we have, and we know that we use double, int, and Boolean. We also have char, long, float, but the only ones we use in this class are int, double, and Boolean. So let's go and declare a variable of type Boolean, which is a primitive type. And let's say the variable name is pass, and we're going to initialize it to true or false. Booleans can only hold one of two values, either true or false. So let's say pass true. And then we're just going to print the variable. So it's going to say system.out.println, and we'll say pass. That is going to print the contents of the variable, which in this case is true. We can also change the contents of the variable, pass equal to false. And now we can just print it, and now it's going to print. It used to be true, then we change it to false. So those are the only two values that a Boolean can have, true or false. So now let's go and delete this, and now let's go into if statements. If statements are going to have the following format. If, we're going to leave some space in there. And now we need to have a block of code. So if this is true, we are going to perform whatever is inside this block of code. Let me make some more space to differentiate. And remember, notice that I'm going to indent it, one tab inside. If something is true, we're going to say system.out.println, and we're going to type a message, say, you pass. And in here is going to be a statement that's going to be either true or false. In this case, if I say true, that is the simplest form. It's still a Boolean, it's true, but we're just not storing it anywhere. And if we press run, if this is true, then it's going to go through and perform this operation. If it's false, then it's going to skip it. So doesn't print anything. So therefore, in order for it to be able to access in order for Java to be able to access this line of code, whatever is inside the parentheses has to be a true statement. So we can place true or false inside, or if you want, we can say again, Boolean pass will be the variable true, and we just type in the variable. The variable contains either true or false. In this case, it's true. What's inside? In that case, it's a variable, so therefore, it's going to print it. If we change it to false, it's not a true statement, right? Pass is false, So therefore, it's going to not do anything because it's going to skip it. So that's one way of doing it. We can just type in true or false, or we can type in a variable that will hold true or false. Another way of doing it is just to be able to compare two items. So we can compare, let's say, two primitive types, two ints, 10 equal 10. Notice that in order to be able to compare, I need a double equal sign. So this is an assignment. This is a comparison in Java. So you have to be very careful. If you're comparing two things, you need a double equal sign. Is 10 equal to 10? True, so you pass. If you forget to have an equal sign in there, a double equal sign, you're going to end up in error. You are expected a value in there. What does it say? Error unexpected type. So it's unexpected. We need to be able to determine, have a comparison. In this case, you are placing 10, storing 10 doesn't really make sense. So therefore, you do need to be able to do a comparison in here. So many times we're going to get a user input. So let's go back and say a scanner scan equals new color constructor scanner system data. Now, in order to use the scanner class, we know that we need to be able to import it. So I'm going to go up here and say import java.utility scanner. And now I can use the scanner class. But remember that you have to make sure that you import your scanner class. And now we're going to say, what is your name? What is, system out.println. What is your grade in the class? And then we're going to be expecting a number. And then we're going to store, so we're going to say int. We just want an integer equal to grade scan.next. And now we're going to say if grade equal to 100, then you pass. So let's go and run it. What is your grade in the class? 100. You pass. If I run, because that is 100 equal to 100, that's the true statement. So therefore it goes through here and prints. What is your grade? 99. Oh, that means you didn't pass. In order to pass, you need to get 100%. So therefore, we're not always going to be restricted with a double equal sign. What are other comparisons that we can use in Java? We can use the following. So we're done with first section. There's a condition, the line of code there. And then we're going to go over the simplification and the different formats in a second. Notice that if you have a single equal, it will give you an error. It needs to be a comparison, must be a double equal sign to compare. But in Java, we also have the following: less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, equal. And then we also have a not equal. So let's go and use any of those inequalities. So what percentage will it be if you pass a class? 60%. So if the grade is greater or equal to 60, we are going to say you pass. That makes a little more sense, right? So what is your grade? 61%. You pass. What is your grade? 60%. You passed. What is your grade? 59%. No. So in order for Java to go through this block of code, this statement has to be true. Whether you do a comparison, whether you place a variable, a Boolean variable that holds true or false, or whether you just type in true or false. Those are the different statements that you can have in there. You can also have it not equal to. So if you want it to be, if it's not equal to 0, if it's not equal to, let's say, 60%, you pass. So let's run it. So that is a not equal. So you do need to be able to memorize that. Let's see. So anything that's not equal to 60 should go through that. So if I type in a 59, is 59 not equal to 60? That's a true statement. So I'll pass. You run it. What is your grade in the class? Is 61? You pass. What is your grade in the class? 100? You pass. But as soon as it's false, it's not going to be able to go through it. So if is 60 not equal to 60? No, it's false. It is equal to. So therefore, it won't go through this line of code. So therefore, it's going to skip it and do whatever's rest. So therefore, it's going to go through that line of code, through that code, if this is true. Now, sometimes you might just want to say it's greater than, or it's less than, or it's equal to. So depending on your needs, this inside has to be either true or false. Now, there's different variations of the code. So sometimes you guys will see it as this, and sometimes you guys will see it typed as in this format, which is fine as well. Now, if you only have one line of code, so let's continue with greater than or equal to. If you only have one line of code, you actually don't need the braces. You will need the braces if you have more than one line. But for now, one of the things that we want to get used to is just placing the braces, and that way we can easily align them. And if we need to be able to add more than one line of code, if it's 59, it's not going to go through. So therefore, if let's say I want to be able to say if it's greater than or equal to 60, you pass, congratulations. So let's run it. What is the grade of the class? 100%. You pass, congratulations. But now let's go and say 50%. 50%? What happened? So you have to be careful because even though you have this indented, in Java it's slightly different. Python indentation is important. In Java, this is treated as if it was not part of the if statement. It's treated as this. So if it's false, it's not going to go through this statement. So it's going to go to the next one and you'll be printing congratulations. So therefore, it is best for now that every single time you have an if statement, you place your braces, your open and your closing brace. So that way we know for sure that it's going to go through those two lines of code if it's a true statement. 50% doesn't print anything. So just be careful. For now, place your braces, because if by any chance you need to be able to add one more line, you don't have to go back and worry about your braces. And notice that I do place them not like this. You can do it this way. And later on, we'll get a little more comfortable on making sure that the parentheses match. But notice that this format is much easier to see that my parentheses are matching because they're right next to on top of each other. I know that in this case, my parentheses are matching here and here. And I know that in this case, my parentheses are matching. So it's much easier to match your parentheses, less prone to errors. And that's our lesson for today. So we cover 3.1, 3.2, and we'll cover 3.3 tomorrow. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.